In today's edition of Everybody's Business, we are going to talk about auto sales, bank credit growth, and paint. That sounds like an unlikely sentence, right? I'll tell you how they're all connected. The paint industry, especially the decorative paint segment, is not just about coloring the walls of our houses. It is actually a very effective way of assessing the health of the country's broader economy. Households usually spend on home improvements such as painting when they're financially confident. And if they cut out this spending from their budget, it could signal that they're being cautious about their money. It's usually one of the first expenses to be paused. Car and two-wheeler sales are also seen as a direct reflection of the country's economic health. That's because they show how confident a consumer really is. When people buy vehicles, and more so entry level vehicles like two wheelers, it shows that they have disposable income that they're willing to spend as they're optimistic about future earnings. Impressive truck sales, on the other hand, show good business activity like movement of goods and infra push. And when such needs are pushed into the future, it indicates financial caution and weak demand. Coming to the third indicator, which is bank credit growth. When the economy is growing, people and businesses require more money to spend and invest. And this results in them needing more credit from the banks. Now that we've set the table about the link between the three for the purpose of this video, let's look at what's happening with all of these one by one. Earlier this year, Asian Paints said that paint demand was at its worst in 2 decades and an improvement was unlikely in the near term. Now, it's important to note that this is not just a result of sluggish demand, at least from the perspective of Asian Paints. Consumers are also shifting towards cheaper and local brands, and a new entrant, Grasim Industries, has shaken the strong grip of established players like Asian Paints. The CEO of Asian Paints, Amit Singhal, said that over the last 2 decades, they had possibly not seen such poor demand conditions in the industry. And he said that given the overall environment, they did not see an acceleration on its way. The company's net profit dropped 45% for the January-March quarter. It's not like the paint sales story is all doom and gloom though. It is playing out differently for different players and in different regions. In urban areas, the demand has been soft, and it has been slowing for a few quarters now. But rural areas have shown a decent pickup in recent months. According to analysts, one of the reasons for this may have been the hopes of a strong monsoon. But reasons other than slow demand can also impact paint sales. The monsoon plays a big role. People typically start painting their homes only after the rains end because damp walls are not ideal for the paint to set in. Now, while the June quarter remained muted for paint brands, there has been some sequential improvement. The Asian Paint CEO said that in April and May, demand was a little better, especially in urban areas, but then an early monsoon dealt another blow. Berger Paints also attributed the impact to a heavier than usual monsoon. However, AkzoNobel, another leading paint brand, said that this quarter was also stressed because of subdued consumer sentiment. The companies now expect a revival ahead as Diwali is coming earlier than usual and they expect festive spending in this segment. On to our second indicator now, which is auto sales. Car sales by Indian automakers to dealerships dropped to an 18-month low in June, with the demand being sluggish in the urban markets. Automakers dispatched 7.4% fewer units from a year earlier, according to data released by the Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers, SIAM. SIAM's report said that urban consumers have been avoiding discretionary spending for most of this year, and the dip in wholesale car sales reflects a broader pressure on household budgets. Though here too, there are other factors that should be taken into account. There's also a seasonal pattern that's usually at play. Vehicle manufacturers typically offer discounts in the festive season and towards the end of the fiscal year to finish their inventory. The fact that the government is going to make changes to GST, which could result in a drop in prices, is another reason. With Prime Minister Narendra Modi's announcement that rationalizations will be made to GST this Diwali, many people are holding off on buying vehicles till that time. But do note that the 18-month low sales were reported before the GST announcement came in. The fact that rare earth materials from China have been hard to come by in the recent months has also been an issue. PM President Shailesh Chandra, however, said that the overall sentiments across categories has remained subdued so far, even as the industry continues to navigate supply side challenges. And then there's the bank credit growth. Banks are going slow on consumption centric credit like personal loans, credit cards, and credit for vehicles and consumer durable purchases. According to latest RBI data, growth in such segments has slowed to single digits, down from between 15% and 26% in the previous year. Banks such as HDFC, ICICI, and Axis have reported a rise in bad loans in the April-June quarter. Kotak Mahindra Bank had also recently flagged rising defaults in retail commercial vehicle loans. Reuters quoted Shanti Ekambaram, Group President of Consumer Banking at Kotak Mahindra Bank, as saying, "We are managing the stress from slowdown in logistics, infrastructure spending, and delayed government payments." The household debt in the country has also risen in recent years, according to the RBI's Financial Stability Report. Slower credit growth, especially in retail segments like personal loans, credit cards, and vehicle financing, indicates two things: that banks have turned more careful, and that households are more hesitant to borrow and spend. This subdues consumption, a key driver of economic growth. And despite rate cuts by the RBI, borrowing hasn't really increased.